Hello, gentle viewers. This is Avindian with a quick update on the new Out of the Park baseball series that'll be coming to the channel. And when is it coming? It's coming in 2 weeks. Next week will be the last week of Slay the Spire. And then we'll have Out of the Park Baseball Monday, Out of the Park Baseball Friday, and then EU4 on Wednesdays. So if you're following EU4, I'm just pushing it back 2 days because of the idea of being bookended by Out of the Park Baseball. Now, I've spent a lot of time thinking about this the last couple of weeks, ever since I decided I was going to go for 2 episodes a week. And a lot of you made really good suggestions, and I still might incorporate those at some point in the future. But I opened up the game today and I was like, that sounds like a tremendous amount of fun. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to be playing a historical game. No challenge mode. Go away, please. We're going to start in 1871. We're going to optimize. Yep, that looks good. And here's how this is going to work. Oh. You know what? We are going to use minor leagues, even though they won't be a big part of the game to start out with because the minor leagues didn't exist. They were purely independent leagues. But just for the sake of having options, we'll go ahead and add in some minor league teams. That sounds good. Do recalculate, automatically expand the league. Hold an expansion draft. We do want correct financial settings. I'm going to fix it to turn on scouting because I do think it makes it more fun. And you know what? Let's make this 1 to 100. That seems good. When a player makes the majors, let's go ahead and create pictures. Next step. Dock of Indian. That sounds good. So, here is my vision for this series before I go through and make the other changes I will need to make to change. Obviously, I'm going to start with the Cleveland Forest cities. That's a no-brainer. Here's how this is going to work. We're going to play through the history of baseball. And every time I win a championship, I'm going to switch to the team with the worst record in baseball and try to build them up into a champion. And then I'll just keep doing that. And what I think is going to be cool about this is we're going to see our players continue to grow, even if I'm not actually controlling them. It'll be neat to see, say, someone we draft in 1871 go into the Hall of Fame in, say, 1900 or thereabouts. And I think that would be a very cool thing to experience. So that's the idea that I have. I'm going to hit start game, let it build things, and then I'll go in and I'll make some other changes to make this a bit more... Because I personally think the game is too easy if you have 100% accurate scouting on. I like there to be some mystery to it so that you can get things wrong or you have to invest in it. So we're going to go into league settings, league and teams. This is all fine. Rules. This is all perfectly fine. We'll set spring training at 40. Not that it's going to matter because the reserve clause is still in effect. I am going to go, by the way, I'm going to go ahistorical here. I'm going to leave the color barrier off. I don't know if the game will automatically put it back into effect because when baseball was first began, there was no sense that there was anything wrong with black people or dark-skinned Hispanics or anything like that being in the major leagues. People just didn't think of it. They didn't. I don't know why they didn't, but they didn't. It wasn't until the 1880s where there was a gentleman's agreement, is what they called it. I personally don't think you're a gentleman if you exclude people from doing something fun, but that's just me. They decided that they would exclude African Americans from baseball. It was never legally written down everywhere. The leagues just all the teams all just understood, don't do it. I am going to turn off the 10-5 rule because that did not exist in the beginning of Major League Baseball. Yep, we want to use historical draft classes, so we'll have a chance to see history's greatest players. This is all perfectly fine. $130. That's crazy talk. We're going to go to financials. That looks good. Options. I'm always going to change these Silver Slugger and Gold Glove. Manual AI voting. That's fine. Look, this is my Hall of Fame, right? So one of the things I'm going to do, it's one of the things I've always found frustrating, is only having 10 spots on the ballot. No. You get 20. You get 20. This is all fine. Okay, dude, it's the 1870s. No one's hitting 300 homers in their careers. It's not happening. But this is when the milestone watch starts, by the way. So it's like when someone approaches 2,000 hits, you can look it up in the milestone thing. Okay, coming over here. Rainouts are fine. Spring training is good. Holding the All-Star game, I agree. I don't want to vote for All-Stars. I do want everyone selected. I do want a prospects game. That sounds like great fun. And then there is no initial round, so that'll change as the game continues. Players, all of this is fine. Historical. This is all fine. Automatically expand the league. Stats and AI. I'm not going to touch any of these. And then finally, let's go to global settings. Complete scouting system, please. Keep all the reports. Incorporate stats and scouting reports. That sounds lovely. Let's start doing that. That's really cool. If they'll start adjusting their scouting reports based on the player's stats, I think they'll give us a more live, a more realistic feeling here. Oh, we're going to do values 20 to 80 and values 20 to 80. I don't like the star system. Maybe you do, but I don't. I want you to autosave once a month. Although Out of the Park Baseball 21 has never been more stable, in my opinion, it always concerns me. It really does. The possibility of a crash. So I don't love that. We're going to do players and face gen. No. We're just going to set it to normal. I don't mind there being injuries. I don't know why it was on extremely low. We'll set it to normal. I think that's reasonable. All the rest of this is fine. Uh-huh. I'm going to turn off baseball cards. I never look at them, and they really slow things down around the All-Star break, so I'm just going to say, nope, that ain't happening. AI settings, I think we'll leave this as is, especially in the reserve clause era of baseball, because trades are pretty much the only way, besides the draft, to improve your team. So that could get kind of boring if I make it hard to trade because I'll just have the same team year in and year out. Because there's no free agency, right? I think personally that would be extremely boring. So I'm gonna leave this as is, but maybe when we get later on, I will think about it from there. Do I want to change the player evaluation on AI settings? One of the challenges you can do in the game is you can set ratings weight to 0 and base it all on stats. Again, the purpose of this is not to necessarily challenge me. It's not to make this a difficult run. It's to just get to watch baseball develop through history. At least that's my thought. I'm going to leave these as is for right now. Almanac is fun. We're not doing an online league. We've already checked all the league settings. So the last thing that we're going to do is, in this mini episode, is we're going to do the inaugural draft. I did not pick being first overall, but I'll take it. Oh man, this is a blast from the past. We can get players like Cap Anson, George Wright, Ross Barnes. Is Ross Barnes one of these guys who's really good for like 3 years and then vanished? Yeah. Okay. So strategically, we're in the dead ball era. What does the dead ball era mean? The dead ball era happened for a very long time. Oh, I actually just have OSA scouting. We're going to need to fix that. I need to hire a bunch of people, but we'll worry about that later. During the dead ball era, power was just not a thing that teams valued. I do like the idea of the Austin Rage. That's a great minor league team name. I got distracted again. I'm sorry. So what mattered the most in the dead ball era were a couple of things. First of all, the ability to hit for contact, and especially the ability to have one starting pitcher who could just dominate the game. Because if you had a starting pitcher, that pitcher was expected to pitch every single day. Singles and doubles were the most common thing you'd see in a baseball game. Even triples were a bit more common than they are now. But home runs were... Entire teams would get maybe 20 home runs a season. And for a long time in history, they were kind of seen as bad. Teams are like, oh, the real challenge is, as Wee Willie Keeler put it, to hit them where they ain't. Not to hit the ball over the fence, which is just seen as, like, uncouth. It's like, oh, you're big and strong. It's one of the sillier things about baseball history, but that's how it used to work. The other thing that really inflated batting averages in this period was, especially in these early days, players' gloves were quite small. Like, picture a baseball glove in your mind. In the earliest days of baseball, they would basically be like a little bit bigger than a winter glove. So it'd cover your hand, but that was it. Which meant that you had a much smaller surface area to grab the baseballs while whistling past you. So errors were extremely common. Infields were very poorly maintained, and there'd be like rocks and stuff. So if baseball hit a rock and go ping in an opposite direction, It was a pretty big yikes. So, who do we want on our team of baseball? Now, so here's one of the most important things we need to consider when building our initial team. The most important player on a baseball team in this era was the starting pitcher. Because he's going to be pitching every single day. So we want to make sure that we start by picking a quality pitcher. To keep all of my views, I can't be bothered to fix them right now. So we definitely want to make sure that we get a quality start. It looks like our three best choices would be Bobby Matthews, Al Spalding, or Bill Stearns. And they all look really, really great. Now remember, we're only going to play with a team until we win the World Series. But one of the things I'm going to do differently than I did in the World Tour Series I did with OOTP 20 is I'm going to try to build teams for relatively sustained success. I'm not going to push in all my chips to hurry up and run the World Series with a certain team. Because, guys, I've got, as much time as I need to, more than 100 years of baseball history. I don't feel particularly rushed. So I am going to try to build things that make both sense in the long term and things that make sense in the short term, because the other thing to think about is, let's say the year after the four cities win the World Series, they tank. No, I'm never going to go to the same team twice in a row, because that would be kind of dull. But let's say they tank and they lose for like 10 seasons in a row, so by the time I finish with my second team, I come back to it. It'll be cool to see how many players are still there. That's just my way of thinking. So let's analyze these three options, because our first overall pick, we've got to make sure it's a good one. Bobby Matthews. Bobby Matthews is a ground ball pitcher. He's a Submariner. Really good stamina. 3 pitches that aren't that exciting. And this is very much on brand for the dead ball era. Pitchers don't throw very hard, and their pitches don't have a lot of... like, a screwball is crazy, and I do enjoy a good screwball pitcher. He's also a very good hitter, which is something we have to consider in this era. Mr. Matthews, you are a tempting sort. Al Spalding, looks like he's a much better control pitcher. He's a little bit more Major League ready. An important aspect of the old days, the dead ball era, was something called the spit ball, which is now illegal in baseball, where you would basically spit on your hand, you'd moisten a certain patch of the baseball, and then the baseball would tend to dip. In out-of-the-park baseball, they simulate this with a split-fingered pitch, because they didn't exist in the early days. No one ever thought that if I push my fingers farther apart, I can force the ball to go down. This would be actually a spitball. Notice his pitch is actually pretty doggone good, so that's pretty exciting. And then Bill Stearns is also quite good. Al Spalding is also an amazing hitter, so I think we're going to take Al Spalding. I think he is the best choice here. I'm going to draft him. Okay, we've got one starting pitcher. We don't really need another one. So who can we add now offensively? We would want a very good shortstop if we could manage it, because shortstops are pretty important too. But how good is Lip Pike? Now remember, all this is adjusted for the era, right? I don't expect him to hit like 60 homers in a year. In fact, the most homers he ever hit in a year is 4. So that's something we need to keep in mind here. But he is a very good hitter. He is pretty good. He's even a good leader. Do we make good old Lip the face of the Cleveland Forest Cities? I think maybe we do. And then I get to pick again. Let's look at Chick Fulmer. Very good shortstop. Hits for contact, as we'd expect in the dead ball era. And he hardly ever strikes out. I think he could be an excellent choice. So we're going to go ahead and take Chick. All right, we want a good catcher. So let's just look at catchers right now. And we've got basically we've got three players that are about the same. I'm not going to take Bob Ferguson because his primary position is third base. I do love the plate discipline though. We might take him. I'm going to take him now. I cannot resist a player with this level of plate discipline. I love it. And then I can pick my catcher. So, Doug Allison is a well-rounded hitter. Now, of course, all this could be bullshit because I have realistic scouting turned on. So let's keep that in mind. He's a very good hitter and a pretty good catcher. Bill Craver is a better hitter and a not as good catcher. And Fergie Malone is about as good as Doug Allison. Nope, Fergie's actually a better catcher too. So I'm going to take Fergie. He seems like a good dude. Auto draft. I no longer have a need for that. A good defensive center fielder is going to matter too. I don't know if Art Allison is a good defensive center fielder, but he's a hard worker. That counts for something, right? And then I actually have a third baseman, not a second baseman. I do like the name Joe Quest. He's actually just a terrible second baseman. You know what? He'd be more of a project. He would take some time, I think, before he's ready for the big leagues. I do need a right fielder, and I see Big Al here. Could also play first base, another position I need. He's an edgelord. I don't know if that's good or not, but we'll take it. Why not? And I'm only going to draft, by the way, until we get the starting lineup. After that, I'm just probably going to just ignore it. Warren White is not very good. And we're really at that point in the game, by the way, that we've just got lots of not very good players. Dickie Pierce is an amazing shortstop. Our other shortstop, how good is he at actually being a shortstop? He's not as good. But it's also Chick Fulmer, and I don't really feel like moving him to second. What do we got among the second basemen of the world? Yeah, it's pretty hard to find a second baseman who doesn't suck. I guess Sam Jackson, not that Sam Jackson, by the way, is at least okay. Because we are going to make sure we have good fielders, because we have a lot of ground ball action happening. There's no pitchers left in the game, so if our pitcher gets hurt, that's going to be a pretty big yikes. I'm going to take Dickie Pierce just because he's a fantastic defensive shortstop. We might find a role for him. Who knows? We could trade him later on. And I officially need a first baseman. I could pick Bub here, but he's not very good. Let us go to batting potential. No, not batting potential. We wonder how good they are right now. Who's the best power hitter left? I like this a lot, actually. I like this as a sneaky kind of player. Maybe make him a backup catcher to start out with. Oh, I can't draft him. I'm not allowed to draft yet. God damn it, someone took Marshall King. My plans have been foiled. Sure, I'll take Charles Bierman. And then... I'm just gonna I'm just gonna go ahead and auto draft the rest of the round. The rest of the draft. Yes, that sounds great. And then I can look at them and we can decide from there. Game, what are you doing, game? Why did you decide to put my entire team in the freaking minor leagues? That was a very stupid thing, game. This is why we don't let the AI control things. Sam Jackson. Who are we missing? Mr. Bierman. I know you're not very good, but I need someone to stand around at first base. And you know what? Let's go ahead and call everybody up for right now. And we'll save the minor leagues for the minor leagues. And we can worry about that another time. Right. Al Spalding is the top prospect, as he should be. Okay. I am indeed a native of the United States. That's very true. Let's hire some coaches, and then I'll kind of close this mini episode out. Here. Blake, you're in. $20 a season. My God. He's gonna be able to have like 12 houses now. I'm kidding. A little bit. We need a pitching coach. It might as well be someone who actually has coach ratings. Oh, here you go. We'll pick Nate just because we have ground ballers. I know he's not fantastic at developing people, but it's alright. You could be my pitching coach. I need a scouting director. You're all the worst. I guess the ability to scout the amateurs still matters, so we'll hire Marco Mendoza. And then we also need a team trainer. We need to have someone who just helps pitchers stay healthy, because we've only got the one, right? So it's probably going to be Jason Lee. I think is probably the best choice. He's fantastic at healing arms, and he's pretty good at preventing the injuries in the first place. So let's go and offer him a contract for $80 a season. How much do I earn a season? I don't get paid. That's not nice. How am I meant to eat, game? How am I meant to eat? I'm just going to offer extensions right now because... Wait, what? Okay, I'd already offered him the extensions very, very well. Because, let's be honest, I have no players in the minor leagues. We're playing with ghost players. So the minor leagues are just not going to matter. They might matter later on, but for now they won't. Oh, let's make sure we're putting enough money into scouting and player development. Oh, right. It has to be half baseline because I'm not projected to earn any money because the game doesn't know what to do with it. That's fine. All right. We're going to sim up to opening day. I said we're going to sim up to opening day. Some people made some questionable decisions. I'm going to make sure this is set to news from my entire organization because that's what matters the most to me. And then we'll just kind of get the news everywhere else. You know what? We can do entire league right now just because it's small. I mean, we've only got, what is it, 8 teams? No, 9 teams, sorry. AI, you can go ahead and set things up the way you like for these purposes here. There we go. Oh, that's cool. I have some of my hitters are also capable of pitching. You love to see it. My rotation size is 1. Al, my dude. And how good is Chick at pitching, actually? He's terrible. How about Bob? Bob is even worse. I don't know how the two of you got flagged as two-way pitchers, but you're not. Please stop. That is definitely a thing I don't want either of you to be doing. I'd rather we pick a random infielder and have them pitch than have either of you guys pitch. That's how I feel, unfortunately. Are there any free agents? There aren't. Well, it was worth checking. Okay. Let's sim up to opening day. Oh boy. You know what? I'm going to make a change because I just realized something. With rosters being small for everyone, an injury will literally end your season. So I'm actually going to turn injuries back down. I now realize why the game had them that low to begin with. Please go back down to very low. Not extremely low. Injuries should still be happening. But it's like, that's crippling is what it is. It is utterly crippling to lose even a single player for an extended period of time. So I'm going to turn injuries back down. Those of you who started watching the video earlier were probably laughing in my face. In which case, that's fair. I deserve it. But, yeah, at least until we start getting bigger rosters with more and more players, like when the amateur drafts start happening, then we can think about how to actually look at it. But I think for now, we'll just keep the injuries nice and low. Most of my players got worse, which is kind of yikes. It's alright, though. Oof, that's a really good center fielder. Okay. You know what we're going to do, guys? I'm going to give you an extra bonus because I like you so much. I'm going to set up the initial roster. And then we shall, and then I'll end this episode. Um, so here's what's going to happen. In these early days, not only was the baseball season shorter, there were also fewer. There's also less to do in the off season, quite frankly. So you're going to get a complete season from start to finish every episode on Mondays once that starts up. I'm sorry. I need to get rid of that stupid button. There's a way to do it. I just don't remember how. No, don't do that, please. Please. Oh, I think it's under settings here, maybe. Maybe. MISC. No. Huh. There is a way to do it. I know there's a way to do it. I might have to actually... Oh, you want to look under the manager's office. Manager options. Configure continue. Go away, you stupid jerk. There you go. Let me know if someone is out for a week. If there's a day-to-day with a severe performance drop, I can at least think about it. That's fine. Okay. So, my dudes, let's get the roster set up. Ready? Ready? Done. I only have the one pitcher. That was fun. The lineup. Here we will nuke everything. Clear them all. Now, obviously Al Spalding's going to be in the lineup. He has to be. He's the pitcher, and we're still in the era of where pitchers hit. And Al Spalding's actually a really good hitter, so we're actually going to put him fairly high in the lineup. If we sort by contact, I think Al Spalding might actually be our number 3 hitter. Oh man, you are an absolute legend, my dude. Yeah, that's exactly what he is. He's going to be... the number 3 hitter. Our cleanup hitter is going to be Lip Pike. And then Chick Fulmer for leadoff. He is the best contact hitter left on the team. And he can actually he can't run. What about Fergie Malone? Sure, let's get crazy, right? Let's take the catcher and make him the leadoff hitter because he's the best. He's one of the best base stealers on the team, and he hits for good contact, and he's got really good plate discipline. I think that's wonderful. We also want a high contact guy in the second spot. Maybe someone who's got a bit more pop. Wait, outreach. Oh, I see. No, that's fine. But who's still got really good I'm thinking Art Allison, actually. No, it's gotta be Chick Fulmer. Because Chick can also... Because he might also have to be the guy who gets on base, right? Oh, I see. You're playing him at third. Or playing Bob Ferguson at second. You know what? I actually agree with that. I think it's actually pretty smart. It's better than having like a terrible player play second. Fifth, do we have another reasonably good contact hitting power guy? We do an Art Allison. We also need Dickie Pierce. You're the worst hitter on the team, but you're by far the best shortstop, so I'm just going to instantly put you in at 9. We do need a right fielder. We need a first baseman and a second baseman. I would like Bob Al Reach to bat 6th. I'd like Bob Ferguson to bat 7th. And Mr. Donnelly, you can bat 8th. I said 8th. I said, what the fuck? Oh, I know what the issue is. Yeah. There you go. Because what it's gonna, the way it works in this game is it'll automatically put the pitcher in the spot that's empty. And then, yeah, we'll generate the depth chart there. Oh, yeah, gotta do the same thing against left-handed pitching, don't we? Copy. Paste. Generate. There we go. Now, the way this should work, there isn't actually a designated hitter option, so it should automatically assume that Al Spalding is the pitcher that's going to hit third. Right. I could turn off the hide inactive lineups and add designated hitters, but that won't exist in the majors for 100 years, so. Right. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this introductory episode. I hope you enjoy the upcoming series, and I think it'll be a very cool series. Do let me know in the comments down below what you think. I always appreciate your feedback. And as a reminder, for those of you who've made it this way and you've already forgotten what the rules are, here are the rules. Rule 1. Starting with the Cleveland Forest Cities, I will take a team until it wins the World Series. After which, I will switch to the lowest team in the lowest statistical team in the majors. Whoever lost the most games, in other words. I can never have the same team 2 years in a row. So, like, watch, I guess that's not possible, is it? Because I would be switching the year after the World Series, so yeah, I guess that's not possible. And at least until the dead ball era ends, which will be in the 19-teens, 1920s, you're going to get a full season, soup to nuts, each and every episode. Because there's not going to be a whole lot for me to do anyway. And then as the off-season gets more complex, as we get more players, I'm going to slowly start turning up the injuries once I actually have, say, a second pitcher or a bit more to deal with. But I think for right now, having injuries turned on is going to hurt everyone. And you'll have weird things like third baseman pitching and catchers playing center field, which would be pretty crazy. But, so I'm going to post this, actually as soon as I'm done recording it, as episode 0. And then in the description, I will put officially when this series will start. So do share your thoughts in the comments. I hope you guys are excited to see this tour through baseball history. I know I'm excited to play it. And don't worry, when we finish with the Orioles, I'll pick one of the other options that you guys had suggested. But this just, it came to me. I opened up OOTP 21 and I was like, that would be amazing. So, that's the plan. Thank you very much for watching. And until next time, this has been Indian, and I bid you good day.